Greetings. So we are discussing cardiac output and stroke volume. So we already discussed how atrial contraction starts the process of the cardiac cycle. And during the atrial contraction, blood is flowing through the atrium into the ventricles. And when the atrial systole stops, at that point, the AV valves close down, creating a pressure chamber within the ventricle. And that's the early ventricular systole. This is an active state because the pressure is being increased, volume is not changed. The blood does not flow back into the atria because the valves are one way. They will never open backwards. So inherently, we have a chamber which is closed from all sides and the pressure is building. Later in the systole, when the pressure increases to a very high degree, the semilunar valves and the bicuspid valves will be able to open will be able to open and the blood is going to flow through. So at that point, when all the blood is rushed through, we get another tabulation, which is the ventricular diastole early. And at that point, when the blood is pushed out, we are still left with some remnants of blood in the heart, in the ventricular chamber, and that volume is called as the end systolic volume. Now, for the purposes of this section, which is factors affecting cardiac output, key thing to note is stroke volume, which is really the difference between the EDV, end diastolic volume, and end systolic volume, ESV. Difference between those is the cardiac stroke volume. And in addition to that, which is happening every cardiac cycle, there are two other factors that can affect the cardiac output. They are the autonomic innervations and hormonal or the hormonal control. So they impact the heart rate. For example, if you are in a state of panic or stress, the autonomic system is aggravated and then the heart rate goes up. If you are in a growth phase or if you are, the body is experiencing other similar conditions, then even then the heart rate goes up because of the hormonal control. So the heart rate is connected to those two factors. Stroke volume is every cardiac cycle what happens. So together is the cardiac output, which is, and you write it as CO, it is heart rate times the stroke volume.